making money isn't hard. It's the act of believing that you can and working towards it every day is the reason why most people don't make a lot and why they stay stuck. And if you want to make more money, I'm not about to tell you to do drop shipping, trading, Airbnb. Although those are great businesses, none of that matters if you don't work on your mindset. So that brings me to The Secrets of a Millionaire Mind. First of all, you need to go get this book. And the key to this book is telling you the key to riches, because it doesn't matter what business you start. It doesn't matter how much you have to invest. Like right now, realistically, if you have no money, if you have no savings, if you're working a 9 to 5, you want to get out of it, you don't know where to start, but you just know you want to make more money. You don't need to be worried about what business you need to start. You need to be worried about believing that it's possible, because then you will get the ideas of how you can create more income for yourself and for what that looks like for you. And what the book speaks about, it literally is called Mastering the Secrets of a Millionaire Mind, Mastering the Inner Game of Wealth. And it tells people about something that a lot of people don't know. That's why you see a lot of wealthy people. They may have money, but they end up losing it, right? Or they may have all these businesses, but then they end up still paycheck to paycheck, or like broke, or they just lost it all, bankrupt, all these things. Why? Because it's these inner beliefs that we have about money. And so what the book talks about is how you have to rewrite your money script. What is your money script? Your money script is what you get from your parents since you were born. You grew up around your parents. If it wasn't your parents, whoever you grew up around, your friends, everybody around you. But what your money script is literally the way that you view money, the way that you view how you can create money, the way that you view how you can make money, the way that you view how much you're worth a year, the way that you view your partner, who you're supposed to be with, how much money they should make, everything that has to do with money. And the thing I need you to realize is, why is this so important when it comes to making money? Because if you do not rewrite this, you will not make more money. And what does that look like? For example, if you grew up hearing that money doesn't grow on trees, what do I look like? I'm made of money, or like, whatever you grew up hearing about your parents around money, that's what you're gonna inherently believe, because that was placed into your subconscious mind when you were a child, and it grows up with you forever and ever. And that's just science. Like, I'm not a scientist, but literally that's science. And so one of the things that I grew up hearing was that exactly, money doesn't grow up on trees. And so what did that lead to? That led to me growing up thinking that I had to work a job, that I had to work a 9 to 5, being scared of credit, because I grew up also hearing that credit was bad, and that you don't want to get credit because you're going to be in credit card debt. You're not going to know how to manage your money. And so I didn't even start my credit journey. Like, I grew up hearing all these things and believing that that's true. But the reality is, those aren't your beliefs. That was your parents' experiences, and that's what they went through with money. And so in order to make more, and in a sense, we love our parents, but in order to be better and to grow past our parents, if that's something you're looking to do, you have to rewrite that. And so this can show up in many ways. Like I said, like, it could show up for you. Some of the things the book talks about is some people with stocks, like maybe people are trading, they're investing, or even starting these businesses, right? If you grew up, like, there's an example, somebody grew up in the Great Depression. They grew up hearing all the time, their parents would say, you need to save for a rainy day. Oh, money's so hard to make. His dad was always coming home depressed, saying he's not making enough. So then this man, from the age he was young to him being 68, he kept starting all these businesses, and none of them were working. It wasn't until he read the book and he reprogrammed his money script, he got rid of his dad's beliefs, because he realized, why do I keep starting businesses, but I just keep not making money? Like, I'm not even making $1 million. Every business I start isn't making anything. This was tied back to when his dad would keep coming home during the Depression, not bringing home anything. And that is a money script he developed. And it's not going to show up intentionally like that, but it can show up in many ways by you, like, self-sabotaging yourself to not make money. Or another thing that the book says is, like, from the date you're born, how much money you're supposed to make a year is already kind of ingrained in you. So what that means is, like, if your parents only make 50K, your parents make 60K, 40K, whatever. If your parents make that much, the way that they're talking to you, the things you see them do, the way that they speak about money, unless they change that, that's what you grow up thinking that it means for you. So, like, for me, my parents worked 9 to 5, and I'm not even sure how much they made a year, but it wasn't a lot. And so what this did is, I'm growing up thinking that, wow, I really have to work at a job for years in order to even make 100K. Is 100K even possible for me? Like, I genuinely didn't believe. I knew that it could be, but I didn't know how I was going to get there, right? Like, I didn't know what I needed to do to get there, because my parents hadn't made 100K in a year. So like that, I didn't know what that looked like for me. And I had to rewrite this and just realize that, okay, just because they didn't make that doesn't mean that I can. And you have to be aware that this is a thing and be open to the possibility of changing. This can also show up in your relationships and how relationships and money, that's something the book talks about a lot. Like relationships and money play a huge part, because you might think that you and your significant other are arguing about money, but really y'all just both have different money scripts. So the thing is, you have to go back to every way that you react about money, okay? This is how you're gonna reprogram it. You need to think, anytime something with money comes up, like whether you're going to buy something, when you're going to get gas, when you're going to get groceries, when you're going to invest in something large, a car, how do you respond to it? Like, for example, when you go, this is the smallest example, but when you go get groceries, if it's organic or if it's a certain brand and it's like more expensive, right? And you're looking at that brand and you see the cheaper brand over here. Are you like, ugh, I'm gonna just go with the cheaper one because, you know, like, are you thinking that? Or are you thinking, well, I'm gonna get the more expensive one because I like this brand. I know the ingredients are valuable and I value what I put in my body. So I'm not gonna get the cheaper one. Although it's less money, I value spending more for what I'm putting in my body. That's how you have to look at it. And that's something that I used to do and that I'm actively learning. I used to also be like, have these cheap beliefs, or like even the clearance rack. Like I would swear up and down, like somebody asked me what shirt, oh, where'd you get that shirt? I'm like, I got it on clearance. Like, that's not the way I prefer to live my life. If I want to make more money, why am I bragging about getting a shirt on a discounted price? Like, money's running out. And the reason why this is important is because when you have those beliefs, it just keeps trapping you from making more money. Like, you genuinely have to realize, okay, whatever these beliefs your parents had about money, whatever experiences you went through about money, you have to rewrite them and make them your own in order to make more money. Another example, because I really want you guys to understand like why this is important. An example in the book, it talked about a woman who was a nurse. When she was younger, her father died in her arms. It was like her and her mom, her father and her mom, they were arguing at a table over money, over like the bill at a restaurant. Anyway, during that argument, the dad had a heart attack and he literally like passes out, and she knows CPR, so she's giving him CPR. He ends up dying in her arms. So little did she know, from the age of that, since that happened, she had been associating money with pain. So she was a nurse and she was making good money. But in reality, what did that look like? Every time she still wasn't having a lot of money. She wasn't having anything saved up. She wasn't controlling her money. Why? Because she associated money with pain. So if she didn't want to have pain, so in her mind, she was subconsciously, unconsciously pushing money away, spending all her money every time she got it because she associated money with pain. So until you get to the nitty gritty, you do the inner work to realize, why do I look at this the way it is when it comes to money? You're not going to be able to make more, like no matter what you do. So it's like, even if you're in a job right now and you're like, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. Well, when you go spend money on things, like in the past, did your parents live paycheck to paycheck? Like not even that, but in the past, what did your parents, how do they speak to you about money? So like I said, the money growing on trees, the girl when the parents died around money, you know, like there's lots of instances you have to think about. Like even if somebody got robbed when you were younger about money, so then you're associating money with fear, so then you don't want to have money because you're scared of getting robbed, you know, or like these beliefs about rich people are bad, all rich people are bad, all rich people are greedy. If you grew up hearing that, then when you get rich, like you can do whatever business, but when you get rich and you make money, you're going to find ways to give your money away. You're going to find ways to fuck your money off because internally you're believing that rich people are bad, rich people are greedy. So you literally, it's as simple as, you guys, saying the belief that you know is keeping you from making more money. Whatever belief you know is from your parents that you know you heard all the time, and you know that this affects the way that you spend money, whatever belief that is, you need to say that and you need to rewrite it. You need to literally say, so like, my parents' belief was money doesn't grow on trees. I don't believe that. That is not my belief. I believe that money, I can create money. I believe that money comes in abundance. I believe that money is an infinite resource. And I have a lot of money. Like, I declare that money is an infinite resource. You have to say things like that, and then you have to release that belief. And then you have to keep practicing that. Like, obviously, you're not going to just say it one time and it's going to happen. But what you got to do is every time it shows up, like for me, every time when a moment shows up, I gave that grocery example because that's a big one for me. When groceries show up, and I'm used to my parents always wanting to go for the cheaper option, always wanting to budget shop, That's not how you get more money. Like, you can't hold on to money and be thinking and like thinking you can't spend money to make more money. So anytime that shows up for me, I'm like, Ayana, I pause, okay? I pause, take a deep breath, and I'd be like, you know what? Although that's cheaper, I'm gonna get the more expensive one because I know that money's abundant. And the reality is the more expensive one is gonna give me a better experience than me buying the cheap one. I don't even like that. It doesn't even taste good. And the more expensive one has better ingredients. I'm gonna buy organic food. I'm gonna spend more. I'm gonna spend more on organic food because I value it and I know that it's gonna make me feel better. I know that me spending my money, it's in a good place, you know? So then you just have to talk through yourself with it. So like, really, the moral of this is if you want to make more money in 2026, you have to start off with seeing what comes up for you around money. How do you spend money? How do you view money? How do you view credit? All these things are things that rich people value. Rich people love money. Rich people know that money is a tool to get you success, to get you freedom, to give you choice. Like, rich people aren't saying money doesn't grow on trees because they know they can create money. Rich people aren't saying, oh, get that on sale. Rich people aren't going to the restaurant ordering the cheapest thing on the menu because they're worried it's going to get out. No, rich people are going and they're getting what they want because they know money comes back. Money is an infinite resource. So what I want you to do is when these things show up for you, take a deep breath, pause, and rewrite that belief. And when you rewrite that belief, write this down too. Like, you need to write down the belief. If you're out and about, whatever, but write it one time. Like, if you know that you heard money grows on trees, rewrite that. Money is abundant. And every time this shows up, practice it. Because it's not just going to happen overnight, but it's about when these things come up, you need to say them to yourself over and over and over again. You need to go, if you need to go spend something right now, that way you know that money's going to come back, then go do that. Because I promise you it will. Even if you don't have a job, the money's coming back. If you have a job, you know you're about to get paid. If you don't, doesn't matter. You're going to find a way because you're always provided for. So you have to have these beliefs, and you need to get this book because genuinely, it literally just changes your mindset. Like, I've been reprogramming my mindset throughout this entrepreneurship journey, but some of these things I'm realizing, like, I'm like, oh my God, like some things that my partner and I talk about, I'm like, we have different money scripts. We went through different things in life, and so we view money in a different way, and we have to rewrite our money script together if we want to build wealth together. You know, you have to be open to the possibility to build wealth. And it also talks about like the difference between poor mindset and wealthy mindsets. Like, it starts with watching how those little things come up and rewriting them, but then there's so many different mindset tweaks that wealthy people just don't think. Like, we're not thinking about how much gas is. I know I have to drive my car anyway. Take the card. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not thinking about how much I'm spending on necessities, how much I'm spending on food, on things that I need. Like, I'm not sitting there complaining that dang, like, ooh, I don't want to spend that. You know what I mean? Or like, ooh, I had to just give that person $20. Like, it's $20. You know, like, come on, like, you wanted to do it, so you value what you spend on. You spend on it's making you convenient. If it's making my life convenient, I'm not complaining about how money is. And that's what the book is about. And that's how you're going to make more money, by realizing that money is abundant. Money's not running out. You can create more money no matter what. Money's getting printed every day. And you have to realize that, because you're not going to make more money until you realize that, and until you write down these thoughts and rewrite them for yourself. And while we're on that topic, I want to read a part of the book for you, because it goes through different wealth files for you to literally reprogram your mind. So this one is like wealth file number 1. Rich people believe I create my life. Poor people believe life happens to me. You guys, literally, if you go to work, you have a bad day, and you're just complaining, reacting to life, you're not gonna make more money that way. If you're like, I want to make more money, but damn, I hate my job. Oh my gosh, I just got this XYZ just happened. That's not how you make more money. You have to be like, okay, I have all these resources. I have YouTube. I have TikTok. I have money that I'm making. I can invest it into something. I can create my life. And that in itself is powerful. But I'm going to say more about these tips and more about how, like, the financial mindset of things, because finances is nothing without the right mindset about it, and I'm learning so much about that. So if you learn nothing, go get this book, rewrite your money scripts. When stuff comes up for you that has to do with money, that isn't an abundant thought, that's not yours. You learned that from your parents. Okay, if you want to make more money than your parents, if you want to make more money for yourself, it doesn't matter. You just need to create your own beliefs and let go of those. and that's how your life is literally gonna change. So if you like this video, then give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.